I am Natasha Busst, and this is Nightline, the top stories. 8.6 million Malaysians to receive Phase 3 of STR cash aid on Tuesday. And crackdown on bullying, Education Ministry to audit school safety nationwide. Some 8.6 million Malaysians will begin receiving the third phase of the Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah or STR cash aid of between 150 and 650 ringgit starting Tuesday. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said payments for this phase will total 2 billion ringgit. The STR is divided into 4 categories: households earning below 2,500 ringgit, households earning below 5,000 ringgit, senior citizens without partners, and single individuals. Payments will be made in stages, either through direct bank credit or cash disbursement at Bank Simpanan Nasional branches. In a statement, the Prime Minister said the STR is more than just financial aid and reflects the government's commitment to improving the well-being of the people. The number of recipients in the third phase has risen by 300,000 compared to 8.3 million during the first phase in January. This follows the government's move to keep applications and appeals open year-round, ensuring that no eligible citizen is left out. Anwar added that the STR also aims to help recipients achieve greater financial independence and promote economic equity under the Madani economy. The fourth phase of STR payments is scheduled for November. The rise in eligible recipients for the Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah or STR cash aid reflects the government's commitment to ensuring assistance reaches those in need. For economist Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid, this will allow the government to extend future assistance to those already registered in the database. Afzal Nizam said the updated registrations will allow the government to maintain an up-to-date database and keep track of those eligible.
So this would improve the impact and also to ensure or to minimize the exclusion error which normally happens when it comes to policy making.
He added that the initiative will help recipients improve their purchasing power to a certain extent.
To those who are really in need of such assistance, it really matters to them because such cash transfers will be able to offset some of their living costs, such as food and beverages, perhaps the basic items such as their rental.
The Education Ministry has ordered a comprehensive safety audit of all schools across Malaysia, including boarding institutions and day school hostels, as part of a national push to improve student welfare and stamp out bullying. Findings from the audit, which covers all institutions under the ministry's purview, will be tabled within 3 months for immediate follow-up action. Education Director General Muhammad Azam Ahmad said the audit will ensure compliance with all safety-related standard operating procedures. Existing guidelines will also be reviewed to ensure they remain relevant to current and future needs. To facilitate the reporting of bullying incidents, the ministry will reform its complaint system, including the Aduan Bully portal, to make it easier to use with an option for anonymous reporting to help protect complainants and witnesses.
Saya dah arahkan bentang laporan ini seminggu sekali untuk saya lihat apa yang berlaku, isu-isu tentang keselamatan ini yang boleh kita buat tindakan dalam jangka pendek.
The ministry will also strengthen safety management and access control at boarding schools by increasing warden numbers and expanding CCTV coverage. Meanwhile, Azam said the ministry has instructed school principals and headmasters to lead chants of Kami Benci Bully or We Hate Bullying before and after each school session, aiming to instill a strong loathing of bullying among students.
Semua pengetua usaha kena pastikan masuk dalam kelas yang pertama sekali kami benci bully. Habis kelas nanti sebelum cikgu keluar mesti sebut kami benci bully, dan itulah perang yang kita akan laksanakan.
Azam was speaking to reporters after attending the Guru Madani Appreciation Ceremony and the presentation of Form 6 School Aid in Kuala Terengganu, officiated by Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq. Meanwhile, the government has reminded the public that anyone who commits acts of harassment and bullying, including cases where the person provoked is driven to attempt or commit suicide, can face up to 10 years in prison, a fine, or both, in line with recent amendments to the Penal Code, which came into effect on March 7th. This provision is outlined in the Penal Code Bracket Amendment Act 2025. In a statement, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reform, Dato Sri Azalina Othman Said, stated that the amendments introduced new sections 507B to 507G, specifically aimed at addressing bullying in all forms, including online. The updated law also covers offences involving harassment, threats, insults, and the misuse of personal information. Azalina urged all ministries and agencies to update their personnel on the latest legal amendments and to ensure that internal policies and procedures are aligned with the new provisions. The probe into Zara Khairina's death was also raised in the Dewan Rakyat on Monday, with the Education Ministry stressing that it will not compromise on matters related to bullying in schools. Deputy Education Minister Wong Kah-Wah said the ministry will not and has never attempted to protect anyone involved in such incidents.
Dalam kes Zara yang sekarang kita tahu bahawa perkembangan dari segi siasatan oleh polis, isu ini sekarang dalam siasatan polis dan pihak KPM akan menyerah kepada pihak polis untuk membuat siasatan. Cuma KPM hendak menegaskan bahawa KPM tidak akan berkompromi terhadap mana-mana isu yang berkaitan dengan isu buli.
Wong added that the ministry remains ready to cooperate fully with the police and to assist in every aspect of the investigation into the case. Meanwhile, Bukit Aman has confirmed that a special task force from the Criminal Investigation Department has taken over the investigation. The 9-member team, made up of both officers and rank and file members, has been deployed to Sabah. In a statement, the Corporate Communications Unit of the Inspector General of Police's office said the deployment forms part of the police force's commitment in ensuring the investigation is conducted transparently and thoroughly. It stressed that the police take every case involving loss of life very seriously. The police also urged all parties to allow the authorities to carry out the investigation professionally and to refrain from any speculation that could compromise the probe. In the meantime, the lawyer representing the family of the late Zara has rejected allegations circulating on social media suggesting that the post-mortem of the Form 1 student was influenced by external or unseen parties. The lawyer who accompanied the forensic team throughout the entire procedure said the autopsy was carried out thoroughly and transparently without any external interference. Lawyer Shahlan Jufri told reporters he spent almost 8 hours in the autopsy room on Sunday without eating or drinking in order to observe the entire procedure conducted by the forensic team from start to end. He dismissed allegations of political influence or intervention by high-ranking individuals in the probe into the teenager's death and made clear that no individuals of high status were present at any point during the post-mortem. From his observation, Shahlan was able to confirm that there were indeed injuries on the body of the 13-year-old, consistent with previous reports on social media, but stressed that details regarding the injuries cannot be made public at this stage.
Of course, saya rekod ada kecederaan. Cuma saya tidak boleh cerita panjang pasal kecederaan sebab masih dalam siasatan. Memang postmortem tu berjalan dengan telus, integriti sangat tinggi dan lancarlah.
The postmortem was conducted by consultant pathologist at the Sultan Idris Shah Hospital in Serdang, Dr. Khairul Anwar Zainun, and Queen Elizabeth Hospital 1 pathologist, Dr. Jesse Hugh, assisted by 2 support staff. Also present were a forensic photographer and a police photographer. The official post-mortem report is expected to be completed in no less than 3 weeks and no later than 2 months. Zara's remains were exhumed over the weekend at the request of her family to complete the authorities' investigation into the cause of the student's death. The autopsy was completed at around 7:30 p.m. on Sunday. A few hours later, Zara's remains were transported from the hospital back to Sipitang and was reburied at the Tanjung Ubi Muslim Cemetery in Kampung Mesapul at 1:15 a.m. The Prime Minister has proposed the construction of a vertical secondary school at the Residency Aman Madani area to meet the educational needs of local residents. According to Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, the proposal followed discussions with developers, ministries and relevant agencies after the groundbreaking ceremony for the residential project at Bandar Sri Permaisuri on August 6. In a Facebook post on Monday, Anwar explained that although there was a primary school nearby, its limited capacity necessitates the development of a new secondary school in line with the area's growing population. He said the school will be open to local residents and equipped with facilities including a kindergarten, surau, clinic and security center. On July 30th, the Education Ministry announced it had finalized the planning guidelines for vertical school development, taking into account key design principles such as student supervision and safety. The recent incident in Pulau Pinang, where the national flag, the Jalur Gemilang, was flown upside down, should serve as a lesson to all Malaysians. National Unity Minister Dato Aaron Agodagang on Monday said that while it was an isolated case, action must be taken to prevent it from recurring, especially during National Day celebrations.
We regret such thing happen, but I think this is jadi pengejaran kepada kita lah untuk betul-betul memahami how the bendera should be hanged. But this is a small incident lah. I think I would say small incident in the sense you look at why it happens like that.
He was commenting on a viral recording showing a man hoisting the Jalur Gemilang upside down as another person was filming the act. He said the act may not have been deliberate, but did not rule out the possibility that it could have been caused by ignorance of the correct way to display the national flag. At the same time, Aaron stressed that Malaysians should not be afraid or hesitant to fly the flag after the incident. In Kelantan, a family of 4 was killed after their car collided with a trailer on Monday. The accident, which occurred around 9 a.m. in Gua Musang, also left another person severely injured. Gua Musang Police Chief Superintendent Sik Chun Fu said initial investigations found that the car was traveling from Gua Musang to Kuala Krai when it skidded into the opposite lane and crashed into the trailer. The deceased were identified as 32-year-old Muhammad Faiz Nur Amran, his younger sister, 21-year-old Nur Aina Imran Nur Amran, and his 2 sons, Muhammad Aryan Fatah Abdul Qayyum and Muhammad Aiden Fatah, aged 5 and 4 respectively. The car's driver, 23-year-old Tuan Nur Shuhada Muhammad Zain, who is Muhammad Faiz's wife, sustained serious injuries and is receiving treatment at the Gua Musang Hospital. The trailer's driver escaped the accident unharmed. Media Prima Berhad MPB continues to strengthen its existing relationship with the Pulau Pinang government and the Yang di-Pertuan Negeri's office. This includes exploring new opportunities for collaboration on initiatives for the people of the state. A senior management team from MPB paid a courtesy call on Pulau Pinang Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Tun Ramli Nga Talib on Monday. The delegation, led by Group Chairman Datuk Sri Dr. Syed Hussein Al-Junid, met with the head of state at his Sri Mutiara residence. The other members of the team were Group Chief Financial Officer Rosli Sabarudin, Media Prima Omnia Direct Solutions Chief Operating Officer Datuk Muhammad Effendi Omar, and Corporate Communications General Manager Azlan Abdul Aziz.
Antara perkara yang kami bincangkan pada hari ini adalah bagaimana kolaborasi-kolaborasi yang boleh kita lakukan bersama pejabat TYT Tun dalam untuk memperkembangkan perkara yang boleh kita lakukan untuk keperitahanan untuk penduduk negeri Pulau Pinang terutamanya, dan pada masa akan datang insyaAllah kita akan lakukan yang terbaik untuk kolaborasi pada masa akan datang.
He said the visit also served as an opportunity for MPB to congratulate Tun Ramli on his recent appointment, noting that the Pulau Pinang head of state was an experienced individual who had contributed greatly to the country. Malaysia's unemployment rate remained at 3% in June, marking 3 consecutive months without change. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, this was driven by a 0.7% drop in unemployed individuals to 518,700 people. The labor market also maintained its growth momentum last month, boosted by the national economy's continued expansion. This is reflected in the labor force, which rose by 0.3% to 16.9 million people. Meanwhile, the construction sector continues to record resilient growth in the second quarter of 2025. In a statement on Monday, the Statistics Department revealed that the sector's value of work done reached 43.9 billion ringgit, a 12.9% jump from 2024. Growth was supported by the special trade activities and non-residential building subsectors. Residential buildings and civil engineering also contributed to the upward trend. The private sector remained the main driver, with a value of 28.2 billion ringgit, up by 19.3%. At the state level, Selangor recorded the highest construction value at 9.7 billion ringgit, followed by Johor, Sarawak and the Federal Territories. We're going for a short break. When we return, contraband cigarettes worth over 13 million seized.
Jiran terdengar bunyi seekor kambing mengembek dalam keadaan yang luar biasa.
Pengadu dapati kambing peliharaannya telah mati. Pengadu syaki bahawa suspek tersebut telah melakukan persetubuhan terhadap haiwan berkenaan.
Seks luar tabi'i dengan haiwan ni dikenali sebagai zoofilia. Individu tu dia mempunyai dorongan seksual atau fantasi terhadap haiwan.
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headline.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Ejen mata, kerja kita belum selesai.
Ejen-ejen muda kita dah sedia ke?
Ejen Ali musim ketiga kini ditonton. Aksi lagi padu, drama lagi gempak. Tengok bila-bila kat mana-mana, stream je. Ejen Ali musim ketiga sekarang ditonton.
Ya, itu yang sebaiknya.
Langgan lagi layak. Bertindak segera.
The mother of Palapis cadet 22-year-old Shamsul Haris Shamsuddin, who died at a training camp in Ulu Tiram last month, has appealed for a second post-mortem to be carried out immediately on her son's remains. Ummu Haiman B. Daulat Gun said she is prepared for her son's grave to be exhumed to ensure a thorough investigation. Ummu Haiman explained that the application had already been submitted to the Attorney General's chambers last week through her lawyer, Datuk Naran Singh. However, she urged the special investigation committee set up to look into her son's death to expedite the process.
Saya request untuk postmortem kedua dijalankan dengan segera, sebab saya yakin anak saya bukan meninggal kerana sebab yang dinyatakan oleh pihak balapis, iaitu kerana sawan. Saya yakin ada kecederaan ataupun unsur jenayah dalam kematian anak saya.
She also requested that the post-mortem be conducted in the presence of senior forensic pathologist Datuk Seri Dr. Bhupinder Singh and that her lawyer be included as a member of the investigation committee. On July 28th, Shamsul Haris, who was undergoing training with Pelapis at University Technology Malaysia, died during a live fire training exercise at the Army Combat Training Centre in Ulu Tiram, Johor. He was laid to rest at the Kampung Rinching Ulu Muslim Cemetery in Semenyih. Meanwhile, the Higher Education Ministry has vowed full transparency in the investigation into the death of the late Shamsul Haris. Minister Datuk Seri Zamri Abdul Kadir said University Technology Malaysia has been instructed to extend its full cooperation on the matter. Zamri, who visited the student's mother, Ummu Haiman B. Daulat Gun, at her home in Semenyih, Selangor, accompanied by UTM Vice-Chancellor Professor Dr. Muhammad Shafri Muhammad Rahim, said the family's concerns over the circumstances of his death must be addressed without delay.
Saya bagi pihak Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi juga, kita tidak akan melindungi kalau sekiranya ada apa. Tapi yang paling mustahak ialah kita mengharapkan supaya proses penyiasatan dan seperti mana yang telah ditubuhkan itu dapat akhirnya membuat laporan, memberikan laporan.
He added that the ministry will also extend psychological and financial support to the family. In Cyberjaya, Selangor, police seized 28,000 cartons of contraband cigarettes worth over 13 million ringgit from a lorry during an inspection earlier this month. Selangor Police Chief Datuk Shazli Kahar confirmed the arrest of the lorry driver and his assistant, two local men aged 35 and 38. The lorry was intercepted at the Mex Toll Plaza on the KL Putrajaya Expressway on August 3rd. Police believe the syndicate has been operating for the past 2 years and are now tracking down other members still at large. Also seized were the lorry, its keys, 2 mobile phones and 4 delivery order slips. The case is being investigated under the Customs Act. Mourners gather for funeral of Al Jazeera staff. The details after this breather.
Sarang hayal di sebalik terowong.
Saya tekanan hidup.
Jerat pinjaman wang mangsa mudah tertipu.
Masalah ni akan selesai, I promise.
Why not kita buat loan je?
Susan, nama kita kan blacklist.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Pat, aku nak tanya ni suka matcha atau suka kopi?
Kopi boleh, matcha pun boleh.
Proses bedah siasat mayat bantu rungkai suatu persoalan.
Had usia wajar untuk dapatkan pendidikan akan kami bincangkan.
Gelandangan di lokasi awam mengganggu keselesaan dan keselamatan masyarakat.
Soal wang biar apa asal bergaya.
MSI Isnin hingga Jumaat 10 pagi.
Juga di aplikasi Tonton.
Hanya di TV3.
Engkau, esok kau filekan bercerai dengan Wasim. Kenapa you nak anak kan?
Ya, anak-anak. Tapi anak dengan you.
I tak boleh pregnant. I tak nak mengandung. Tolonglah Nisa. Kita sama-sama carikan isteri untuk Abang Wasim. Habis tu Kak Ita ni apa? Melawan. Nisa lah orang yang paling tepat. Habis tu, sekarang ni Nisa pula yang nak kena jadi mangsa.
Kau nak madu dengan Nisa? Itu yang kau nak?
Apasal? Tak boleh? Salah? Haram ke?
Aku masih sayangkan kau, faham tak?
Nisa buat semua ni demi Kak Ita, tahu tak?
Siapa pandai-pandai kahwinkan anak aku?
Dalam setiap pertandingan, kan ada yang menang, ada yang kalah.
Tak nak. Tak kira. Kita kena menang. Kita dah buat semua benda, dah prepare untuk menang. Tak boleh kalah-kalah. Ingat aku jealous. Kau jangan main gila dengan Zarita Mali.
Hundreds of Palestinians in Gaza City gathered on Monday for the funeral of 5 Al Jazeera staff members and a 6th reporter killed in an Israeli strike. Large crowds stood amid bombed-out buildings in the courtyard of Al-Shifa Hospital to pay their respects to Anas Al-Sharif, a prominent Al Jazeera correspondent, aged 28, and 4 of his colleagues who were killed on Sunday. A total of 7 people were killed in the strike on a tent located just outside the main gate of Gaza City's Al-Shifa Hospital. Among the victims were Al Jazeera correspondent Muhammad Kreke and camera operators Ibrahim Zahir, Muhammad Nofal, and Muamin Aliwa. In a statement, Al Jazeera condemned the killings as a deliberate attack on press freedom and urged the international community to act to stop the targeting of journalists and the ongoing violence. The Australian government, meanwhile, has announced that it will recognise a Palestinian state in September. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Monday said Australia will formally announce the move when the United Nations General Assembly meets in New York. Albanese said a two-state solution represents the most promising path to ending the ongoing violence in the Middle East and alleviating the conflict, suffering and starvation in Gaza. He said the decision followed assurances from Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas that Hamas would have no role in a future state. Australia's announcement comes as Canada, France and the United Kingdom prepare to formally recognize Palestine next month, joining most UN member states. One person was killed when a magnitude 6.1 earthquake struck northwestern Turkey's Balıkesir province on Sunday, causing more than a dozen buildings to collapse. The quake, which occurred at about 7:53 p.m. local time, was felt in multiple provinces, including the country's biggest city, Istanbul. 4 people were pulled from the rubble of a collapsed house, where 3 of whom are being treated in hospital, while 1 man died of his injuries. The tremors also left nearly 30 people injured and caused the collapse of 16 buildings. Search and rescue operations have now concluded, with no further signs of serious damage or additional casualties reported. Moving on to sports now. Gillian Lim's remarkable debut season on the Professional Women's Bowling Association PWBA Tour has been capped with the Rookie of the Year title, making her the first Malaysian to receive the honour. Lim clinched the award after the PWBA Pepsi Open, the penultimate leg of the season, on Saturday. The 26-year-old Sarawakian amassed 37,320 points to finish 22nd in the overall standings, the highest among all rookies, comfortably ahead of 42nd placed American Jade Cote, who recorded 23,615 points. Gillian is also the first international winner since Canada's Valerie Bercier in 2019. She will now line up alongside Natasha and compatriot Sin Lee Jane in the Tour Championship, an exclusive event for the top 24 points finishers of the season. Turning to football, the 2025 FA Community Shield. FA Cup winners Crystal Palace came from behind to stun a new-look Liverpool 3-2 on penalties to win the cup after an entertaining 2-2 draw at Wembley on Sunday. Hugo Ekitike gave Liverpool an early lead with a strike into the far corner in the 4th minute before Jean-Philippe Mateta equalized for Palace from the penalty spot in the 17th minute. Another close season signing, Jeremy Frimpong, restored the Reds' lead in the 20th minute, only for Palace to equalize again with 13 minutes remaining through Ismaila Sarr, who slotted past goalkeeper Alison Becker to send the traditional season curtain raiser to penalties. Substitute Justin Devaney scored the decisive spot kick to secure victory for Palace after Mohamed Salah, Alexis McAllister and Harvey Elliott all missed for the Reds. Nightline this time around. Before we go, let's take a look at the vibrant Sileteros Parade, the main highlight of Colombia's Medellin Flower Festival. With that, I'm Natasha. Thank you for watching and take care.